Myself, same time I'm losing myself. I don't know why I'm depressed. I need advice from myself. I can't do music and love it because that's just how it is. But I'ma do music and love it because I said screw the biz. How my vision's distorted, my ideas never exported. I was following a formula and I never wanted that to happen. Lost my handlebars and all I did was pedal, not knowing where I'm going except for above. I don't care how I look, it's about what's in the book. Karma's real, and you know that real music will blow. Don't need photo shoots, don't need premieres, don't need more in my circle. Undercoming to people, the people just mess with my stilo. I'm a gentleman of virtue, God is on my side. Don't need a flashy repertoire, cause I know me inside. I'm thinking back to all the times in my life could have died. My father's pastor told me there's a reason I'm alive. Hallelujah, thank you Lord, we still alive, don't let them take us yours. Hallelujah, thank you Lord, I'm feeling like the man, just made me wanna dance. Hallelujah, thank you Lord, we still alive, don't let them take us yours. Hallelujah, thank you Lord, I'm feeling like the man, just made me wanna dance. Jesus, in a few months, will you bless me? Need a visa and a key card to a new home and a new whip. Two-tone, that classic, purple classic, black man from that West End. My blessings, can't count them, thought I had none, then I found them. Late in an intersection, Toronto, Jane, and West End. My leg was hella broken, but God started stepping, fell back. But the point that I'm making, any damage don't stop me. So that proves I'm amazing, yeah, yeah. shouldn't be surprised niggas fake. Where I'm from, I shouldn't be surprised if y'all niggas late. Made the same most making years, but I made mine in a day. But trusting masses for the return was the biggest mistake. Still I'm confusing people giving me advice for the play. Like I ain't coached my team for years and I'm still getting this pay. For me, they do the same. I've been too humble with niggas, tier not even the same. In a league of my own, I'm out here paving the way. And I don't answer to nobody, people go where I say. I run an enterprise myself, all niggas claim they indie got someone else bigger to pay. I saw the ends but never came out the same. I saw my cousin in a box wishing he jump out the frame. That's the only time we saw a grandma cry, it's insane. She used to make a little stretch over a week and still eat while some kids were overseas. She's the one I gotta beat, you niggas weak. Now when I travel east to see my fam, where my grandma used to sleep is nothing but an empty seat. She won't be my child, but she met my niece, and there's peace knowing that she reunited with Malik. And never go away, you barely deal with it. At family get-togethers, it just feel different. The more I see my fam, the more I see you niggas not. Love to act, almost believe them every time they talk. Wants an approval, the most haunted thing about the plot. Niggas telling me be grateful for my spot, and I know how much stuff I'm on that never drop, cause I ain't pop. Trying to gauge when I'm popping off so that they could use it. I'm the scariest entity that's beyond the music. Don't try and Google the sample, I'm just a great producer. I tried to get funding a few years back, they couldn't offer much, but I still flew the family out to Vancouver. Don't know what's supposed to be, y'all keep pissing me off, they count me out.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Good evening. Howdy, 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 family. Of course, this is the... You can hear us now, right? Let me see. I think I know what it is. Yes, you guys can hear us now, right? Shout us out, see if you can hear us. Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes,
I think
yes,
so.
yes. All right, they can hear us now?
I'm pretty sure.
All right, good.
Wait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can. It's okay. If you can...
Cool. We in here.
Yes. Listen, my name is Claremont. I am Dad.
I'm Calanthony. I am son and brother.
I'm Claremont the second, and I'm son and brother as well.
Yeah. So we're gonna do what we call the real talk, and I think it was quite important. I had a conversation with some young people along the way, and I said I got some sons that have done some great stuff. I played some of the videos that they're doing. Now, Calanthony is a drummer for a rock band, which kind of really, consider the fact that he likes rap and everything else. He's a drummer for a rock band, and he also raps as well. Claremont, phenomenal musician who's a rapper, writer, videographer. What's some of the things that he does?
Well,
You could ask me.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
So, what's some of the things that?
Yeah, you basically said it. Director, photographer, musician, producer, writer. Yeah, just an artist overall.
Artist overall, yes. So the reason I brought my boys down, I wanted to talk because I had a conversation on radio before. You're smiling at me already?
No, I'm smiling. I feel like I'm on InfoWars. This is hilarious.
So, they have accomplished what they've accomplished, but it did not come that easy for them. And people may look and see that they've done what they did, but they had a childhood and they had to grow up with me, a father, a Christian father, who have gone through infidelity, and this is something that for some people they don't like to talk about it because they feel it's too taboo, and why should we want to touch bases like this. Here's the reason why. Here are some wonderful young men, my sons, that I'm very, very proud of. I have two daughters, I have 4 children, 2 daughters as well that I'm proud of. I'm proud of all of them. Love them equally and differently. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So, but they've gone through a period of time in my life that was pretty crazy. Calanthony Moore would remember most of it more than Claremont would, because Claremont was pretty much funny young child. Hilarious when he was growing up. So was Calanthony. Calanthony was known as the clown in the family, always making fun of things and always joking around and have these funny videos. But really and truly, going through infidelity, going through divorce, that kind of stuff. How did that make you guys feel at that period of time? And be candid. It's okay. I mean, especially you.
I wasn't expecting it to go.
We're gonna go back to the red. We're gonna go back there. But you know, but we're gonna hit there. Then we're gonna talk about what you guys are doing now.
Well, I think, honestly, I think. What's the question again? How did it make me feel?
Yeah,
like,
I mean, your dad, Christian dad.
Well, I think when you're young, when I was young, I kind of had a pretty make-believe image of what Christianity was supposed to be, what my parents were and are. Mm-hmm. And I think that's one veil that it hurt to kind of uncover, but now with time, even before, before the age I'm at now, I'm 33 now, and it's just like, even before that, I just realized there's a lot of inconsistencies and there's a lot of expectations, and all those expectations don't necessarily come with the best advice. Just because it comes from the church, it doesn't mean it is the right advice. A lot of that advice doesn't come necessarily from the Bible. It just comes from people that want to control a situation, and then it becomes political, right? And that's one of the reasons why I had to separate myself in a lot of ways from church, because it becomes political rather than it becoming about the teachings and it becoming the philosophy of what you're supposed to follow, rather than, and I mean, it takes a man to say what I'm saying, because I've gone through all these experiences and now I understand perspective a little better, right? So I mean, for me to tap into my 10-year-old mind, of course I was hurt, but I love you the same, right? I love mom the same. I mean, it just is what it is, right? You guys are not infallible. You know what I mean?
See, one of the things to me though that I look at for myself, and I've spoken to you guys a lot about my infidelity, how I ran my life, how I did certain things, certain choices that I made that weren't the greatest of choices that should have been made. But again, you guys have an example to look back and says, I don't want to do that, but I understand what dad was trying to say, or I don't understand what dad was trying to say. For me, I had a dad in the house that didn't really contribute, totally didn't contribute anything. Right. So for me, it was, and I'm not using that as an excuse to say it's my right, or I because of this is why I did what I did. But I don't know if I could tell, but my dad told me something. I'm not going to say exactly what it is.
Funniest.
My dad told me something
that made me want to ride motorcycles.
Because let's put it that way, right? And
can I say it? No. Can I say it?
Yeah, that's an inside Humphrey thing.
Okay,
right?
fine.
So and when he told me that though, I kind of said to myself, that's it. So there wasn't anything for me to fall back on in terms of the advantages that you guys have today. Is that you have a lot of uncles and father and and older male friends that you guys have. I didn't have a lot of that. That you can make decisions
Yeah, but I mean I personally wouldn't. I would love to have gotten to know Uncle Stan a little bit better, because he's an accountant and I could have used his perspective when going over to the States in terms of tax and stuff like that, right? Uncle Borchell is good for different things. I don't know Uncle Bernie as well. I wish I did. But that being said, I think I've had a lot of different mentors here and there.
Right.
And it's interesting because and this is no disrespect to any of them, but I get what I need from them, and then even though we're still close, it's just it's almost like you reach to a new level. There's new things to learn.
Well, that's what you're supposed to be. I mean, I expect as my sons, you to be better than me. By far, right? So you evolve because you've learned certain things. I've reached my plateau, so to speak, and now you got to go beyond that and reach your plateau. And
you think you reach your plateau?
That's a good question.
Because
This is what we're here for.
Because I'll tell you straight.
Yeah.
Now that I'm a dad,
Yeah.
I don't ever want to stop learning, and I don't ever want to stop being excited about cool stuff, right? And I don't ever want to stop like doing stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I feel like if you keep your eyes on the prize, and like, cause I hope I'm not putting you on blast too much.
No, that's fine.
I feel like you dwell a little bit, and it's not constructive. Like, I dwell a bit, and it's not constructive. It's just like it's a bad habit. It's just like it doesn't matter what happened in the past if you're not using it to go forward. You know what I mean? And I feel like if you're excited about something and you're moving towards that,
I'm excited about what I'm doing right now.
Okay,
right?
yeah, this is cool.
Yeah, but I'm like, also excited about the station and so forth.
Plateau.
No, when I say plateau, I should probably plateau is not the right words to use.
It's absolutely
not. But when you reach a certain level, and you'll think you've reached. But your children will always go past you. Always.
Or they should.
They should.
They should. Will
should.
Smith is a hard act to beat for Willow and Jaden. You know what I mean?
They should go past you. But Clemmer, how was it for you? Could you remember anything?
Oh yeah, I mean, as early as I remember, I had 2 houses. That was kind of the understanding. When you're that young, you don't really know the whole. You don't know the details. You don't know anything else. And I like in ways that's a good thing because you want to be a child. Like
right.
I mean, at least looking at it like there's now being a child is great. Like not having to, I guess, not having to deal with the ins and outs and the whatever horror stories may have been behind the scenes or whatever it is, those details, because like at 5 years old, that's not what you should be occupied with. So I appreciate that aspect of it.
Actually, at 5 years old, you were making beats.
Yeah, I mean, I was having fun, man. I was making music,
you were making beats and and
drawing and stuff like that. And
imitating people on the bus.
Yeah, I guess so. That's a fact. The thing is, it's like I had 2 houses. I didn't really understand the concept until a little bit later. But I was able to be around music all the time and able to be around art all the time in the household. And so it didn't really I wouldn't say it played a role in my upbringing directly, maybe indirectly, maybe if any of that affected how Cola was, or how you acted, or how mom acted, or how any the sisters acted. If that situation affected that, and then affected me throughout, it's like indirectly. It wasn't like this situation specifically had a direct effect on how I grew up. It was more so how it affected you guys, because I was young at the time. You know what I mean? And little sister is not of that house. I'm over there all the time. So those are the only kind of things. So I mean, growing up and now that I'm older, like understanding the situation, like it kind of makes sense why things were the way they were here and there. But I mean, I'm not like necessarily mad at anybody, or like I'm not hurt by it. I'm not, you know what I mean? Like I was probably too young. I was too young to like really know what's going on. As I said, like as early as I remember it, I was here and I was there, back and forth. So
blended family. How was that? The blended family thing, because regardless of whatever, you come into a blended family, right? So because after that, of course, I got remarried again. So there was a blended family. How was that for you guys?
It was. I mean, for me, it was cool. I have a stepbrother that I'm really cool with, and like because of that,
Shay is awesome.
That stepbrother that I could, we could, whether that's playing video games or that's watching TV, whatever, like just good times. So that's a cool aspect. I mean, it's definitely interesting when it comes to
what do you think there was some negative aspect of blended family?
I think there there could be. I think there usually is. I mean, you know, for the most part, like it's never peachy. It just won't be. It's like impossible. Like I mean, I don't know. Maybe
non-blended families are
that exactly that itself. Is
non-blended families have problems. If you have people in a house, especially if everybody's old enough to have an opinion. I mean, like
things are gonna be you know the way they are.
I know in there's a period of time in the blended family moment, especially with Clanton. I told him, because I know it was kind of a bit of a hassle for him going back and forth, because 1 week you guys with me, 1 week with your mom. And I remember saying to him, listen, by the time you reach 16, because I know there's changes happening and you want to hang more with your friends and
and like that's around 15, 16. That was like when a lot of things started changing. Like I got my first paycheck doing a show, like playing keys for somebody, right? I got into music production and I was producing beats. Yeah, you know, and like I'm on my block, and like all my peoples are there, girls, like all like things that 16-year-olds are around, and it's just like
I remember the day when he came to me and he said, Dad, you know, we're 16 and can we I said, yeah, if you don't want to come by me for the week, you know, and we see each other on the weekend, I'm cool with that. And it's trying to understand the dynamics you guys were in at the time. I had to, for me, it was trying to balance a whole thing that was new to me. I wasn't planning on this. It just kind of evolved into this. And
you didn't live close.
You lived on the outskirts, right?
You lived on the outskirts, which was cool at the time. But then when it got to Saga, it's just like, come on, man. Like I'm not like. I mean, an hour is already a lot. You know what I mean? But like to go from an hour and a half to 2 hours, and like it's not like I was driving.
To be on the outskirts of the city is like, especially when
it's away from the action.
Yeah, when I was taking music more serious, right? It just made sense for me to be down here more. I went to school in the city. Music events were in the city. Friends were in the city. So kind of traveling to go to the outskirts, like it wasn't really something that was like, I would say, convenient. You know, having to wake up earlier to go to school because I'm on the outskirts, and rather than being able to walk to school and things like that.
Looking back on it though, like once again as a grown man, there's perspective that I could have used from you, but if it was in the city, like, cause like man, Saga is like even the culture out here. It's just like you can't even really get around too tough if you don't have a car. You know what I mean?
Here's something that I want to ask you guys. When you guys found out that you have a little sister, but it's not a little sister between your mom and I, what was that like? I mean, for you it was different.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was like,
what was it like for you?
Like, to be honest with you, I didn't put much thought into it because that's still my sister, right?
Yeah.
And I still feel that up to this day. And she's so dope. She's like, so the last time before today that I saw her, it was just like, I can't speak to my wife about it enough. It's just like, she is so wise. It is so exciting to see how wise she is.
Yeah, she almost seems wise for age. And like, I have conversations, I'm thinking, the other day we had a conversation, and I said to her, I said, man, you shock me every time you open your mouth.
No, man.
Right? She reads a lot, and she goes through a lot of information, and just to, educate herself on things.
And the thing is too is when you digest a lot of information, it allows you to build a perspective. And I feel like, once again, like to bring it back to this, like all the things that I look back on now that were helpful for some things, but definitely weren't helpful for others. It's just like the whole culture of church and different ministers. Not all of them, obviously. I mean, a lot have been good to me, but it's just, but like the congregation and all that, all they're delivering is perspectives, and it's usually a perspective that they're regurgitating, not one that they've actually developed and thought about, right? Like, and that's the issue that I have. Like, the learning stops with what whoever's on the podium tells you, And it's just like, that's not like, that's why I like different pastors, Burnett, Gibbs. They tell you, read your Bible when you get home, right? Because the thing is like, if you read, you will gain new perspective, right? And be able to use that. But a lot of people, they just, and you know, like even the concept of children are to be seen, not heard. I understand that now that I'm older, but at the same time, it's
where in the
just
Bible
like,
says that?
No. I'm just saying as perspective, as regurgitating, right?
Yeah, because I never heard that.
No. It's not in there, right? But it's just like, it's just the fact that they use sayings like that to kind of like project what was projected onto them. There is no real thought that goes into it, and that's the problem that I have with just a lot of. It's not just church, just old people in general. I find it specifically as well in the American Black community and in the Caribbean community that's something that needs to change. Like, we need to start thinking above and beyond and start getting wiser to things and understand why certain things are the way they are rather than just regurgitating it.
Somebody asked a question here from each son.
Yo, put on your glasses.
It won't make a difference. It won't make a difference.
It won't?
No.
Then why do you have them?
It won't make. Oh no, this is just bad. Why? From each son, what is the best trait about their dad?
Best trait about you? I think it was your ability to reason with us, like your ability to like hear our perspective and then offer commentary on that. And I think that's why I am the way I am today, for better, for worse. Oh, geez, you gotta think hard about this.
Yeah, because I think there's a lot of great things about Dad, and you know, it's kind of hard to pinpoint. There's a lot of aspects that I really admire.
We're not slanging or banging, that's for sure.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Just you know, I'm really appreciative of the fact that my dad does, you know, art. So he understands, you know, when it comes to art, like passion and just kind of like allowing us to do what we need to do. I appreciate his speaking skills when it comes to, you know, whether it's radio, public speaking skills, those things. I try to really pay attention to and take and, you know, apply them to myself. I appreciate the calmness factor, being level-headed. You know,
that took a long time. But
I was gonna say there was a period of time where it wasn't always like that, where it was a little. It seemed like it was more, you know, it was more reactionary,
knee-jerk reaction.
Yeah, and it was, but like the calmness is something that's very important, like to me, from him. So I'm still trying to get to that point as well, of being as calm as I could possibly be, and you know, there's like, I can't really choose a favorite thing, but you know, I love him as a whole, and I think there's a lot of areas to take and choose from and pull from, and you know.
Somebody asked the question. You reading the questions there too?
Oh yeah, I'm reading a bunch.
Somebody asked the question. What is it says? Music is a common denominator for the Humphrey men. How do you think life would be without music?
Terrible. Like that's it. I mean,
like what is that?
Yeah, terrible.
Like I think I would have to understand that question better. Do you mean
us doing
like
music?
Yeah.
Oh, us doing music.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I would find something else to do, but I mean,
yeah, exactly. I don't think it would suck. I mean, you still do. Like I think,
let's put it this way.
Wait.
Let's put it this way.
Go on.
When Claremont came and
maybe I can't think about it because I've done music for so long, so it's like if it was taken away from me.
Let's put it this way. When you came, you had the desire to do music. So did you. You came to me at 6 years old and says, Dad, I want to play drums in church, right? So let's say now you developed the music and you started doing by 16, you're doing stuff, and I said, no, you guys got to, you know, do something different, not the music. Music takes you nowhere, you know some peers like that. Music takes you nowhere. And you didn't get a chance to do the music. How would it have really felt?
I'd probably rebel more. Things I really want, I end up getting because I don't take no for an answer. I definitely would have rebelled in some sort of way because the thing is like the reason why even like that question like kind of bugs me is because it's just like, what do you mean life without music itself? Like
life without doing music. I should say.
So life without doing music, I would absolutely do something else. I have other skills too, right? Like I mean, yeah, I have other skills. So,
but music is your first love.
Music is my first love. Like
So-
if I treated it like,
If that was to be taken away from you now, how would you feel?
I'd definitely be empty, and because you're taking away a part of me, right? Like,
I want to go back to something very quickly before we because we got another 25 to 30 minutes.
That's it?
Yeah. I know we can talk forever. Trust me, guys. We can go on for like 2-3 hours.
Word.
But here's the thing. I want to go back to church for a little bit because I find church could be very misleading for a lot of young people, and especially now that I'm in this day and age we're living in, right? Some young people are conditioned, and some are not. By parents. Parents condition the young people, but and then when I've known a young person when I was growing up with myself you couldn't find the most righteous person ever. And from the minute they left Guyana and come here to Canada, it was a completely different ballgame, right? And the thing that I personally, over the years, I found it, and this is what I try to teach you guys, is that church is church. Church in the real sense is the body of Christ. But God, the Almighty God, is a completely thing, which is a relationship you have to develop with Him and develop as you go along. Just like as sons, you develop a relationship, get to know your dad a little bit more, and the more you know who dad is, you develop that relationship. And I find that when church folk talk about church, they always refer to church as opposed to God.
Yeah.
And it's very misleading because, as you talked about it, it becomes a political thing. My pastor's better than your pastor, my pastor preaches. We have all this thing going on at church. And I don't want the young people that are listening to really
finish your thought.
to really I don't want the young people to really feel that church is a negative spot.
Yeah.
Right? But when you go to church as a body to meet God together as a body. When you come away from church, you're still part of the church because you're part of the body of Christ. Because the church is the body of Christ.
Yeah.
Okay? When you come away from that, it should be your relationship. What's your relationship with God? So my question to you guys is, how would you say is your relationship with God?
I think it's pretty good. I think me and God are homies. We're really good friends. As you said, like I don't go to church anymore. I just don't think it just doesn't feel the same as it did when I was a child, and politics are involved. So I think with me it's a matter of just seeing how God operates in my life. Whatever, like I'm trying to become a better man, myself, and just fix things about myself that I have problems with, and I'm seeing blessings in real time from that. It's not even always something that is tangible, but more so within my mind. Things are being opened up, my body's healthier, things like that. And just trying to stay on a right path, and I just feel better about doing things that I'm supposed to do, that I feel like I'm supposed to be doing, and praying every day, you know what I mean, and like praying and acting, not just praying and sitting, because if you just pray and sit, then nothing's gonna happen. I think it's beyond what as you said, this pastor says, or this group of people say, but it really, everybody has a different relationship with God, regardless of their religion, regardless of what they believe in. Everybody kind of has their belief. As for me, myself, it's it's just, I think I have a good relationship with, what I mean?
Clinton, you're now a dad. You have a little one. What's your relationship like with God?
It's different. It's different than before I had a kid. When you have a kid, you forget little things like praying, right? Especially in a time like this where
I thought you're supposed to be praying more. You forget.
No, like the thing is that you're so on the go. Like it's like so I mean, it's COVID times, right? Everybody's working from home, right? Not only is everybody working from home, but everybody is like, so I'm working from home, but it's also like me and my wife, we have to rotate, right? So a lot of the times during the day, during the day, I have my daughter, and then during the nighttime, like, that's the like, especially when I go to like either rehearse or go to the studio or whatever, like, that's the first moment I catch by myself. But that's usually when I end up like saying a little prayer. And like, the reason why I say it's different is because like a lot of times now I find that I find that like, a lot has happened. Like, I mean, over the past 5-6 years, I left corporate and I started not a new career, but I started to finally give 100% into my career, right? And you know, when you become an entrepreneur, it's ebbs and flows, right? Ups and downs. I started traveling a lot more than I already did, and because like I tour, right? And not only that, but yeah, when you have ebbs and flows, you know, you're unsure if you're on the right path. So it's changed because I have to relearn how to trust God for things to happen. And the thing that's so trippy is like, even when I'm unsure, the good things still happen. So the trust needs to just be there, right? But I mean, like, and then not only that, but sometimes, and it's weird, but sometimes I feel guilty for asking for anything. I have a beautiful wife. I have a healthy child. I'm healthy. Like, there's money in my pocket. Like, there's all these great things, investments being made.
There's a song, I think your cousin said, "There's money in my pocket."
No. Oh wait, yeah, it did.
When he said there's money in my pocket,
and the lyric in our band, "Money in my pocket."
Yeah. It took a little from you.
So like, you know, there's all these good things. So sometimes I feel guilty for asking for anything because even though things are not perfect, they're getting there. You know what I mean? So it's different.
The church world, how would you say the church world that you've been around affected you guys?
Honestly, I'd say it didn't prepare me for the world. I would absolutely say it didn't prepare me for the world because you silo yourself with a bunch of people who think exactly the same and have the exact same values, or for the most part, what you think they do. And then, like, a lot of times it's very jarring when you step into Monday and you realize that the world does not like that, right? And then the church has a bad habit of insulating itself, and that's why that's why people leave, right? Because even with that insulation, like, a lot of times you'll see, I've seen people, places, and doing things that they definitely shouldn't be doing, but on Friday night, on Saturday concerts, and on Sunday or at Wednesday Bible study, they're telling you about what you should be doing and what you shouldn't be doing. So I mean, and that's not to judge them, it's just to show the and we're all
basically like, don't judge me though.
It's hypocrisy, but like, but I mean, we're all hypocrites. I think the problem that I have with that sort of method of how it's gone throughout my entire life is that it was political. You understand? They had those stances with you because it was political. They you know, people are driven by things, wanting things, right? Whether it's wanting to control you or wanting to have an opinion on, or wanting you to hear their opinion on you, right? But in truth, it's not truly, like, there hasn't been enough people, in my opinion, that like truly try to build you up and lead you in a particular way. It's just people that have an opinion and maybe they project their insecurities onto you. That's just me. That's my experience.
What do you say, Clara?
That's
in
my
terms
experience.
of how church has prepared me for, how is church?
How did church affect you?
Affect me? I mean,
how does going to church affect you per se?
I've heard some really great music.
Oh yeah. How can I forget the music? I became an elite musician because of church.
Yeah.
So there is a positive side.
I'm not saying that I'm not saying it's all negative, and I hope people don't get that. But I mean, it built us up as musicians.
I think there's, I think the thing that I pulled away the most from church was definitely the music.
Me too.
And I think the music spoke to me more than anything else. When you're 10, you're not trying to listen to an hour and a half, 2 hours sermon. Just like children just don't kind of have that.
It's not relative.
Yeah, they don't have.
They don't have that.
They don't have that attention
capacity
span.
span.
Yeah, like that's not what they're interested in.
Yeah.
I think the problem with not like church but like things in general is they keep trying to cookie cutter copy paste the same method for everybody when not everybody's the same, so they're not going to accept it the same, they're not going to take it the same way. So for me, like, I got more things from songs rather than from listening to these sermons that were super long. Some, like, once in a while I'll be like, oh, that was a good thing, but like for the most part, like
sleeping.
Yeah, like I'm like I for some reason I couldn't get to sleep early. So like going to church early in the morning, even though it wasn't that early, but like in a smaller body frame, I'm not able to hold my head up as long. So I don't have that strength. But I mean, I think it affected, like, I think the music, it's had its biggest influence on me musically. And in regards to the people, I've met great people there, but I've also like met a majority of people that I just wouldn't talk to on a regular basis, and I wouldn't speak to, I wouldn't mingle with, because I have a problem with people who can't have a dialogue about something. And having a dialogue is not them telling me what I'm supposed to be doing or judging everything I'm supposed to be doing. Having a dialogue is having a dialogue, a back and forth. If you have some sort of, and like I realize, like, a lot of questions that you could ask, you get a lot of dead ends, and they'll just like never tell you they don't know. They'll never tell you they don't.
Do you know the power of I don't know? There's so much power in that, because it shows that you don't know everything, right?
And to be honest, the problem with the problem with certain people saying I don't know, it could be like, finally, like, like I could feel that, but like to a lot of people it's like, so why am I listening to you then? And the problem, and the reason why people's first reaction is like, why am I listening to you, is because you just spent the last 20 years of my life trying to tell me how to do something, but now you don't know. So now you have this whole mix up. You have this whole, like, nobody actually understands what they're, you know what I mean? And like people are trying to say that it's supposed to be this way, but then, you go to this group of people and then they'll say it's supposed to be that way. And then you go to that group about the same Bible verse. And it can mean so many different things to so many different people. But like I speak to a handful of people that I went to church with my whole life. You know what I mean? Like it hasn't, as I said, the music was the biggest thing. Like the music makes its way into my music till this day. Like just the stylings of like gospel chords and like the way that stuff is played. And honestly, if it wasn't for the music, who knows, man? Like it could have been a different thing. I probably would have
been
like,
gone sooner.
Yeah, but the music was even if it was bad, like it doesn't really matter, because there's still aspects of it that you still liked. And
I just before DJ Analyst asked, what would it change for my perspective to change on church? I think that mode of thinking is what's wrong. You're talking about me changing my perspective on church, when truthfully it's people that soil what's supposed to be this thing that's supposed to be like, a way that we like desire to live our lives.
I have church with my friends when I see them. That's what church is.
Bro.
But if I'm learning more about God and what I'm supposed to do, how to be a better person, I learn that more from my friends than I do hearing, don't do this, don't do that, don't do that, and you won't go to hell. And I think a lot of people are more obsessed with not going to hell rather than being a better person.
Done.
And because of that,
Done.
that's why, like, just
Bruh.
be a better person. Like, people are like,
After a while, yo.
Okay, so let me break it down this way for you guys,
Yeah.
and then I'm gonna go ask you a question. Going to church is one thing. The Bible says, Christ said, "Where two or three are gathered in my name, I'm in the midst." That's already church,
Yeah.
right? That's the body of Christ getting together. The Bible also talks about the fact that if you believe in your heart, confess in your mouth Jesus Christ is Lord, thou shalt be saved. That's a set thing. The Bible also talks about the fact there is a heaven and there's a real hell, and what you need to do to do that. But you can't want to get to heaven if your earthly presentation is not great,
yeah.
right? And I think that most of the times,
Well, you can want to.
you can
You can want
you
to,
can aspire
but
to do,
you're
but
not
you have
gonna
to
get
be.
there. I got you.
If you
Understand.
are
Yeah.
if you are a truly a saved, born again child of God, your lifestyle changes. Something's supposed to change about you.
Supposed to, but
right?
it doesn't always happen that way.
I understand that. I understand that, and I think this is what is happening because now, for example, me, your dad, right? Growing up in church, I understood certain things. Certain things were set to me. I followed a certain pattern. My dad was not a born again believer, so to speak. Neither was my mom. For a matter of fact, I led both of them to Christ, if you want to put it that way, before they finally passed away. But the thing is that I learned certain habits, right? And in when I reached to the stage of where it became infidelity with your mom, I realized because of the habitual things I learned in church wasn't really carrying me over. I didn't learn how to have a relationship with God to understand, okay, God, talk to me. I mean, he talked to me before, but it came to a point where now it's a church thing. You're doing what everybody else wants you to do.
Yeah.
So, and so saying that, the question would be, knowing me, is there anything from me that you guys say, well, you know what, I follow you in this pattern, certain things that I emulate? Is there anything you can say about that?
Like, just in regards to anything?
General, anything, like something that you say, because, you know, I've learned,
Because
as
you
I
did
said,
this, I'm doing the same?
No.
Or,
Like, say, I'm telling you.
I mean, we already do music. I mean,
Yeah,
What
that's
you mean?
like just. But what kind of characteristics do you think you guys are that you could say this is like that?
it's funny. Yesterday I had a studio session, right? With a couple of people, and I was there to play keys, and I popped on Daryl Coley, and I was like, man, this reminds me. I remember you listening, "The Heart of the Matter." Remember
Right,
that song?
yeah.
Great song. And I looked at the date on that album. It was 1994. I'll never forget it. I was 7 years old when you used to listen to that. And I was like, look at me, years later, driving a red car. Just like you did that day.
Like I had, yeah.
Yo, listening to this album, singing along. Crazy.
Yeah,
I was yesterday and this morning.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, I mean, you know, like, I just want to make sure, like, I'm understanding correctly. Are
What traits do you think you have?
I think
I think I'm right.
Yes. Yeah, these two. Oh my
think I'm right.
gosh, that's pretty funny.
Yeah, I'm getting better at that though.
I think just
You think you're right?
No,
No?
nah.
Stop this.
Stop this. See, you think you're right for trying to say what you're trying to tell me what I think. What's up with that, man?
All right.
What's up? I mean, I'm tired of being right. Like I don't think it does anything.
He's a reverse of it. You don't think he's right. You're just tired of being right.
I'm tired of I'm at the point where I just don't know what to believe these days anymore. It's been like that.
No, but we're talking about me. Like, what traits you think you got from me?
So that's not a trait I didn't take that one. But I think
Apprehension.
Speaking is a big one, or being outgoing. I mean, I'm not as much as I used to be, but I think that's just kind of the environments that I've just been in. I don't feel like that anymore. But when I need to be, like, it's kind of like I can be. Also, like, funny enough, fashion, but fashion you're what you used to it.
Yo, you need to hop on back. You need to.
I can't say much about what I've been working on.
Yeah.
And like what I've been working on visually.
Yeah.
But like a lot of it is going back to what you used to do visually, like fashion wise, what you used to wear.
Everybody watching this, Dad used to have impeccable style, and like he kind of just chilled on it. But look at him; he lost some weight. He's looking good. Encourage him to hop back on it, cause like for real, like I think you will surprise
Only
yourself.
your sons will do this to you.
I think you'll surprise yourself, cause like I'm into fashion too.
Well,
like,
the thing is that for me, what I see, you know, especially when Claremont was growing up, I saw a lot of my feistiness in him. When Claremont was a handful in the sense that he challenged me as a parent.
Your granddaughter does too.
And my who?
Your granddaughter.
Oh, she is.
I love her. She's feisty.
My granddaughter. But Claremont challenged me in being a better parent. And I saw a lot. And I think it's the day I sit down and realize, you know what, Claremont is like me. How would I treat me? And I think that's when the turning point started to happen. Things started to turn around.
Yeah.
Right? As for you, man, I'm always right.
Yeah.
Listen, one of the things that I see in me that is very prominent in Kalant in me is his ability to argue a point and belabor the point. Am I right, Claremont?
What does that mean?
You can say,
I
belabor the point to make sure you get the point across.
Well, you know why?
And that's something you picked up from me.
No, for sure. But I think the biggest issue, like, I never usually get upset. Like, I mean, like, I've been in all sorts of... Never mind. I get upset on the road. I've almost fought a lot of people, but like the only time I truly get like angry with someone is when I illustrate my point clearly and they try to take it to something else. Oh, well, you mean this by this. You mean that by this, and it's like no. I told you what I'm a grown up.
You have to understand.
I'm a grown up.
Right? He's the reason number one in here. But I'm the same way. If I belabor my point to you and I explain it in detail to you and I says this is this, I don't mean anything else.
Yeah,
I mean just that. Don't change.
Don't change.
Unfortunately, we're in a time period where you kind of just can't. You know, no matter how clear you take it, someone's gonna twist it. And it's
the reasonable head.
It's becoming bigger and bigger of a thing now.
Yeah.
Like you can't say anything without somebody thinking you're saying the opposite.
Yeah.
Or you know, it's like, but I'm not saying that. But like, unfortunately, we're in that time period where this you know, certain things that you know you want to say your point, someone's gonna take it and try to twist it because everybody wants to be a hero right now.
Yeah.
Just
and the heroes of what?
Yeah,
like, these people are losers, yo.
Listen, we're coming down to close. We're gonna be closing shortly.
That's rough, man. This
but
is
here's
too
the
short.
Thing. It's too short. We're gonna have to do this again sometime. Maybe we get all of you guys together, the girls and everybody. But listen, from my mistakes that I've made, what are some of the things that you have adopted in your own life that you says, you know what, I know Dad made this kind of mistake that I will not, that you've taken a stronghold and says, this is how I protect me from, you know, repeating certain mistakes or repeating certain things that, even family, not just Dad, but even family.
Well, I think one,
especially you being a dad now.
Well, standing my ground is one, but even more so than that is just like, I'm still learning this too, but not dwelling on past failures. I've been critical of that at the start, but it's just like I remember hearing this one podcast. It's pretty funny, but and I remember he was going through this something similar, right? Where it was just like he like, you know, he cheated on his girl. And he was like, "That's like it's an unfortunate thing that happened, right?" And he apologized. They worked through it, but he's like, "Yo, if you choose to stay, you choose to stay. But if I have to stay here and live an apology, like, then neither of us are going to be happy, right? And usually that comes from people dwelling on past mistakes. If you can't get past it, then it's you got to move forward and move on. But that goes beyond just like infidelity, right? That goes for anything. There's a lot of things in my life that I realize that perfect example. Remember Glad Tidings? Mm-hmm. Adrian Bent, excellent drummer, right? Mm-hmm. Excellent from when we were that young. Mm-hmm. Like, he was that good. I remember being at Glad Tidings, and I think it was Pastor
Nicholson?
Yeah, Pastor Nicholson was there. He's like, oh, we want you to play after Adrian. And I was just like, I'm not playing after him, right? I thought about, like, because he was that good, right? I think about that now, and I think even though I wasn't that good, it would have made me that better to take that particular opportunity, whether I was good or not. But I didn't. That's
something that I would have done.
Right.
Yeah, that's one of your traits you took from me.
Right?
Yeah.
So I didn't take that opportunity, and I was kicking myself about it the other day. But you know what? It happened. Mm-hmm. It's done. I can't dwell on it. I'm in a good position. Yo, the announcements that are coming, I know time is running out, mm-hmm. but the announcements that are coming in September, mm-hmm. like late September, like my career is going great. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so, and I still found music regardless of if I didn't take something when I was 10. I can't dwell anymore.
Yeah.
Right? So that's, anyway.
If there's anything that, that you've done
that you would want to, you say, I'll take a different path.
No dwelling. Sorry.
I mean, I don't think anything that's, I guess, direct, like severe or immediate, mm-hmm. where it's like, oh, I'm gonna do this because Dad did this, so I'm gonna do, like, it was nothing particularly, or like,
I'm not gonna do this because Dad.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything that's particularly. Mm-hmm. I think I'm more focused on taking things that are like things that I just like admire, as opposed like that route, as opposed to like.
There you go.
A negative route. So
there is a question that has been asked regarding the back and forth between mom and dad home when you were younger. What encouragement would you give to young boys going through the same thing now?
I can't answer that. By the time I was conscious, I was back and forth.
Wait, hold on. What's the question?
Okay. With young boys going back and forth between the moms and the dad home.
Oh, so me going back and forth with you guys?
Yeah, between us. And young boys are going through that. What encouragement should you give them?
I think that's an interesting question, but I would say
it depends on the metrics too.
Yeah, I think it because like a lot of people, like, no family is the same. Mm-hmm. A lot of people have broken homes. Yeah. You know what I mean, and it's so like I've done a lot of like. I've done a lot of growing, mm-hmm. like from when I was a child. I think it's important, man. Like, I think it's up to be honest, like the parents to have because like when you're a child, there's only so much you get your information from, which is probably school friends, mm-hmm. teachers, or parents. And I think it's the parents' job to, like. I don't think I was explained properly as a child why I shouldn't talk back or why I shouldn't yell, but also I wasn't explained to about things like, okay, instead of being like just like put on timeout for something or like, getting beat for something or whatever, I think I would have benefited a little bit more from like, okay, you shouldn't do this because if you do this, so and so and so, try doing this. So when it comes to, and that plays a part in whether I would be arguing with you or arguing with whoever. I think it's important, like, because I can't tell.
Yeah, it's about going
back and forth. Yeah, but I can't tell a young boy like, yeah, just don't yell. You know what I mean? It's not that simple. It's not as simple as like, yeah, don't go back and forth with your parents unless you meant traveling back and forth.
Back and forth. Yeah.
Oh, even okay. So I thought I understood the question incorrectly. But traveling back and forth.
Yeah.
I mean. What, like, it's different. Like, it's different.
Let's put it this way. For example, you spend, like, after school, you spend the evening with me, and you go leave from my house back to school, and one week and the other week it's your mom, right? So
can I just answer this because I used to do it?
Yeah.
Like I don't think it's up to giving encouraging words to the boy. I think it's up to the parents to co-parent. Remember that it's both your child.
It's about the child.
It's about the child, and it's not about whatever tiff you guys have. It is your responsibility to set that child up so that they are comfortable where they're at, and that means very, very simple things. And I'm not saying that you did this or mom did this, but as simple as not down talking the other parent in front of the child or at all, really. Like, you have to remember that you're co-parenting with that person. It goes as like if you have another partner, making sure that they don't do that either, right? Because it's not their, like, even though they are a part of this whole thing, it is not their, it's
not their responsibility.
It's not their responsibility to tell the child what they think about you. You understand what I'm saying? It's like, so you guys need to get on the same page and remember that it's about the child, and set that child up so that they are comfortable wherever they go and that they have two families that love them. That's what's important.
I know what if I should encourage the child. First of all, I would like to encourage the parents, because one of the things that your mom and I had, we had our own bickering going on.
Yeah, I remember.
Right, and then it came to a point where I said, listen, if we don't come together and co-parent these children, it's all about them now. They will run riot on us, and it looked like that was going to happen, especially with this one here. So we had to like come together and
I was just bored.
We had to come together on one head and say, listen, we are going to stick with one head. So if Claremont or you would come to me and say, oh, I spoke to mom, and mom said so, I said, okay, let me talk to your mom then. I remember, I think I caught you once in this. You come to me, I don't remember what it was. You come to me and said, Mom said I can do X, Y, Z. It's okay, let me talk to your mom. I'm like, let me call you back. And I knew then that he did not speak to his mom. So he didn't get the go-ahead from me. Yeah. And I think Claremont called me one time. I think you went to your mom with a story and said that dad said, and your mom called me, how could you tell him? I said, never did. She said, okay. And I never heard anything more after that. So what we did as parents was pretty much came together with one head and says, yes, we may be in separate homes. Yes, we may have done our own thing and be separate apart. But we have children that we have to co-parent. We have to make sure that they're doing well.
It starts with the parents. I mean, like to now that I understand the question a little bit better. It's like you could give advice to the kid, but like you can't. You deal with it. You know what I mean? Like that's not like there's nothing you can really say. It's It's really about the parents. It starts with the parents because you have to think about that child. What do they want to do? What is their interest, and why maybe going back and forth this often or to this place might not be a good thing. But you have to think about what the child wants to do, their aspirations, things that they're interested in, and how you could tailor that and tailor that talent or that thing. Because a lot of kids, situations like that is what kills a lot of kids is their drive and enjoyment. Yeah, you're gonna say.
I don't want to wreak havoc too much on the person who asked the question, but like even the mode of thinking, right? It's just like it's not the child's responsibility to be encouraged like an adult. You understand? Children have to be children, and like when they end up growing up too fast, like even for me, like I mean, there was a time when both you and mom were arguing about where Claremont was gonna go, and I was instructed like not to have a part-time job until one day I said I have a job, and I walked out. You guys figure it out, right? It is not my job as a teenager, like especially teenager that like I'm around my friend, like that is not my like. He is not my child, right? And this is just my perspective. It is not a child's responsibility. There's things that you can do, and it definitely set me up to where I am now, full-blown adult, and I have been for a long time. But it is not a child's responsibility to take on adult roles.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And I feel like even a question like that, it's just like, it's not the kid's responsibility to figure out how to make this right. It's the adult's responsibility. Let the kid be a kid.
Yeah, and a lot of that has happened, still happening today, where children. I was watching a movie the other day where this 12-year-old is taking care of her older brother, who is autistic, and a younger child, while her mother is doing some dumb stuff. Right? So really and truly, if that child, that young lady grows up to be indifferent, you have to understand why. Because she was forced to grow up, and adults not taking responsibility. And that's one. Now somebody asked the question. What advice or reminders did I give you guys to navigate through the tricky music business? And pretty much I tell you guys just to be aware. And especially watch who you talk to, watch who you shake hands with. Because let me tell you something. I know some people may think, oh, there's not. Listen, back in the day, contracts were made by a handshake. You agree with me? Contracts, right? Handshake, contracts, right? That was contracts back then. The spirit world still does it, right? And you making somebody, man, come on, man, we can do this for you. They're making a contract and you're not aware of it, and before you know, you're doing things that you don't want. You don't want to do, but you're doing it because you felt. But it's a contract made by a handshake. It's a spiritual thing that takes place, and this is why I tell people, reading the Bible is one thing, understanding on the spiritual level what is actually happening and what God is actually saying to you is what you guys need to understand. And sometimes you don't get it in church because church is focused on one thing. Oh, this young lady's having sex with this young man. That's all they focus on. And
they demonize the girl because the girl has to carry the brunt of it, right? That's crazy.
And the young man is gone. Or, he's on drugs. He's stronger than drugs. I know people who love the Lord, love the Lord, and I know a particular person who loved the Lord dearly and died overdose.
Well, you know why that is, right? So chemicals, like, even though they have like attributes that can leave you reliant on them, they're not inherently addictive. The feeling is addictive, right? Because nobody has a great life and says, I think I'm going to do heroin. Not one person. That's not how drugs work, man. Usually what happens is they are trying to silence a bad past that they can't get rid of in their mind.
Because even the rich folk, do it and commit suicide. The rich folk also have look, what's his name? He's a well-known actor and he committed suicide. I'm trying to think of his name right now.
Robin Williams.
Yeah. You see, so it doesn't matter how rich you are or how poor you are. We all suffer the same consequences. And I think one of the greatest things that for any young person today that should understand, and this is what I wanted to really carry across, because in spite of you guys doing what you're doing in your music right now, I always maintain the fact, keep an open relationship with God. Forget the church for now.
Sound like mom.
No, I think
you need God in your life.
Different intent behind
you need to always have that constant communication with God. Right. And no matter what, as a young person, as you grow, as you wherever life is going to take you. Never break that relationship. Whatever you do, never break that relationship, because I know in the music biz you're gonna get all kinds of stuff thrown at you. Right?
Very easy to lose that upbringing. It's very easy to lose your roots because the money gets blinding, the fame gets blinding, all these different things that are benefits. They get blinding,
and they all come faster than you think it will, especially when you're on a level where I feel like we haven't actually broke yet, like when you really broke through.
When you kind of see the you can't see it directly, but when you could kind of see, like, okay, so you're saying if I just do this, it could be different, like, immediately. That's a very it's
tempting.
a trick. It's a trick, and it's like you just kind of have to hold on to that integrity and hold on to being, staying true to your roots and the things that it'll keep you grounded, and it'll work out if you believe in yourself. People don't believe in themselves.
I as I said, we were closing 10 minutes ago.
15 really.
One of the things that I want to say before we go, actually, we have Christian nurses, Christian doctors, Christian police officers, Christian sanitary guys who pick up the garbage off the street. We have Christian laborers. Can there be a Christian music that plays secular music?
If there could be a Christian person in music?
A Christian person in music that plays secular music.
Life is secular, so
That's
of course.
I think I think even the whole like Christian or gospel music versus like secular debate, or even the fact that there's a difference, I think is a problem, just because life is the way it is. And I'm not saying you can't, mention God in music, or you mention Christianity in music, or vice versa. But it's more so like, if all my songs were like gospel records that were just about God, like I can only take away so much from that. But I don't learn how to be a better person from that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't learn about life from that. I don't learn about real life situations, because this is not going on for me.
Right.
Like, I don't have the same life as like Donnie McClurkin or Israel Houghton or any of those.
And their lives are not perfect either.
You know what I mean?
Like, you know what I mean?
Problems,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, themselves. But it's like, I think like what makes certain gospel records that I love so great is they're just real songs, and some of them don't feel like I'm scared of going to hell, so I'm writing these lyrics, more so than it is like, this is my life, this is my relationship with God, and this is, you know what I mean. So I think like even there, I think I wouldn't even say it's a Christian person making secular music. It's just a Christian person making music, making what they know, making their life's music. I'm not gonna ignore the things that I've seen or been through because it doesn't look good to somebody that I went to church with like 20 years ago.
Word.
Yeah.
I struggle with things that I write down, releasing them, because I know that there's people watching and will come to you or to mom. Mom comes to me I feel like every 2 or 3 days for something that I said or did, and like I struggled for a long time, and then I said, and then one day I said, yo, this is me, like, take it or leave it, I don't care anymore. I don't care. So now when mom comes to me and she talks about the way I talk or what I said or what I posted or whatever, I'm just like, just love me as your son.
I think the same people that are ready to ready to judge and ready to kind of point fingers.
Let's see your life.
Their lives were not great themselves.
Word.
And people don't
say it again.
Yeah, their lives are not great. But like, and I everybody has this kind of this high horse and this pretentious attitude like of what you're supposed to do, but it's like, but you have to fix yourself.
Yeah. Before we close, I'm gonna say this, and it's probably gonna make some people pretty much not very happy right now, in what I'm about to say.
Did you just turn it down?
No, it's up at the top there.
The thing is that when we talk about people using swear words, right, and we label them as non-Christians, or we label them as messing up as Christians, I often wonder what they mean by that, because in Guyana, we have certain words that we use. If I use it here, you guys have no clue what it is, unless unless I tell you what it is, right? So within context, it means nothing to you. So, like for example, I'm going to use a word that it's a French word for tabernacle. I didn't even know there was a swear word. I didn't even know it was.
Yeah,
right. So when people are looking at people and judge them based on how they speak language-wise, I don't think we have that right and that responsibility to do. That's one. Two, if somebody likes to drink, and they like to have a little bit of wine or whatever the case may be, I don't like to judge them, and that I believe that's God's responsibility. Everybody grows
in
at a different
moderation,
rate, right?
Yeah.
I mean, but here's the and even the fact that when you see some people using drugs and they love God, they truly love God, but they like to take the little weed from time to time, right? So you can't
weed
really,
is not even really a drug.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
But here's my thing that the Bible says that a lot of Christians don't adhere to or even think about. We have a lot of banquets. We love to eat, and we overeat sometimes.
Yep.
And the Bible talks about gluttony as a sin,
Yeah.
right? And if we don't pay attention to.
Yo, you're about to get me canceled right now.
So, but the thing is, what I'm trying to get at is this: we major under minor and minor under major.
Yeah.
The bottom line is, we were called to love.
Yeah.
Love your enemies.
Yeah.
Pray for them that despitefully use and abuse it. That's what we're called to do.
Precisely.
Go into the world and preach the gospel to every creature.
Yeah.
Our responsibility as Christians, as believers, as children of God, and this is what I try to teach you guys too, is that, you know what, it's okay. I had to grow into that, by the way. I had to grow into that and understand that, because I too was caught up in the rhetoric of, this is Christianity. And then when I went through my fall, my infidelity, and all the things that I had to learn to decipher for myself, I realized, you know what, God is not like that. He's not waiting with a big stick to bash me in the head and destroy me. He's saying, son, you fell. You messed up. I love you. Let's get together.
Yeah.
Let's talk. David went through that. And God said he's a man after my own heart. I had to learn that. And it's the same thing I try to teach you guys, that you know what? It don't matter how many times you mess up. It matters you bouncing back and come back to God. The Bible talks to, I think it's in Psalms, it says, a righteous man will fall 7 times, but he gets up.
Yeah.
Right? So it is the getting up is
Yeah.
the important part. It's not the falling down, really. And the Bible also talks about the fact that if you're stronger than one who is weak, help them.
Yeah.
So that's the stage that we need to be at this point in time, and not really cut each other down. And especially for young people, I encourage the young person who's listening out there, listen, I don't know what relationship you have with God right now. I know my boys have a relationship with God. I know my daughters probably have a relationship with God. But the point is that we need to continue to show love. And for the young people, if you still like smelling that man, he's addicted to smelling this.
I'm not addicted.
Every time when he was young, every time he sees shopping, he pulls it and he smells it. He used to do that a lot. Yeah. But the thing is, for young people, I don't know what stage of your life you're in right now. These are my sons. They're musicians, making great records. I love them to pieces. I love what they do. I pray for them daily. Because
I'm so cute.
Well, you got it all from your dad. What can I say?
I got half of it from you.
The cuteness you got from me. What can I say?
we just lost the viewer because of that.
But the bottom line is, though, God loves you just the same way, just as you are. You don't have to clean up yourself. Nobody can clean you up. I don't care what church you go to. I don't care who. If somebody's saying, hey, you're not worth it, I'm telling you, you are worth it, because my sons are worth it. And I know they love God. And at the end of the day, I can't give a responsibility for them. I can't give any kind of responsibility for them before God. They have to do it for themselves. So I've taught them well. The Bible says, train up a child in the way they should go, from when they're old, they will not depart from it. And bottom line is, that's what I did. I can't do nothing different than that.
Yeah.
And that's where I leave it. So any last words, you guys, before we jet out of here?
Be blessed, all. And yeah, thank you for watching us speak about stuff. And yeah, I don't really have much to say, though.
Just work on how to improve every day, but don't forget the milestones that you make as well.
Anything to say about your dad?
I love
Thanks,
you, Dad.
man.
Thanks for inviting me. This was a lot more fun than
Then you thought?
Yeah. You kind of just started off with the most heated question, like not how I would do it.
I didn't
but
even know. I thought we were gonna talk about music, but that's fine.
But we talk about music because this is where out of all that you guys have gone through, this is why your music is so great.
Hey, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, my particular song that I love from Claremont, is Hands. I love Hands. Hands
is a great record.
Yeah, Hands just literally changed a new perspective of how I look at your musicianship and your what do you call it, production and your whole 9 yards. Just changed the thing. I'm waiting for your stuff. I saw some of your stuff come out. I couldn't find it. The clip, that little clip. I couldn't find
that little clip.
No, not that clip. There was the other song that Claremont sent me last.
Oh, they sent me, but like to download. Because it was only on Instagram, right? It wasn't on
Okay.
Yeah. I know some people would have said he's actually playing that because it has a few swear words in it. Yes, I would have played it because this is what he does.
This is what I do, man. Take me as I am.
I just want you guys to
take me as the Lord takes me.
Love the young people.
Yeah.
Encourage them. We have too many. Your mother's calling.
Say word.
Oh, we're not. Mom was watching, but she
probably want to ask a question.
Hello. 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 It's just her listening to the program.
She probably pocket dial.
She probably pocket dial.
But I know, love the young people. Love them. Too many young people out there are suffering from mental illness right now, and that's because they're lacking the love of us, the adults.
And it's worse now.
Especially in this lockdown. So any young person you see, no matter how terrible you think they may behave, all they need is an genuine adult love. Genuine
word.
Love, right?
Don't try to preach to them or nothing. Just show them love.
I'm gonna tell you this too. I know I said I was going 20 minutes ago. I'm gonna tell you this. Growing up, I don't remember any male figure hugging me.
Right.
The first person that actually hugged me was my pastor, Pastor Raymond Burnett.
Oh wow.
And when he hugged me, I thought for a moment, I'm like, this man just hugged me, right? But I've been hugging you guys from the get go because I recognize that it is needed. But when he hugged me, a stranger, like I call it a stranger hugging me, and it was a genuine hug, I'm thinking, wow. I know how my sons feel, and I mean, I think for males, hug your sons, hug your nephews, hug your brothers, hug them, because guess what? We men like hugs too. Trust me,
I do.
We like
That's
hugs.
one of my favorite things to do.
This one here, man, he'll grip me and don't want to let go. So I'm like, okay, let me go.
Like
hug your sons. We need it. We definitely need it. Men need it. There are men out there that are suffering mentally, and they need that attention. They need that hug. They need to be reassured again that, listen, us as men, we love each other. Listen, love you guys. It's been a slice. I gotta go. On behalf of myself, Claremont.
Call Anthony.
Claremont the second.
Yeah.
You know what it is. You already know what it is. Quick.
Losing myself, same time I'm losing myself. I don't know why I'm depressed. I need advice from myself. I can't do music and love it because that's just how it is. But I'ma do music and love it because I said screw the biz. How my vision's distorted, my ideas never exported. I was following a formula and I never wanted that to happen. Lost my handlebars and all I did was pedal, not knowing where I'm going except for above. I don't care how I look, it's about what's in the book. Karma's real, and you know that real music will blow. Don't need photo shoots, don't need premieres, don't need more in my circle. Undercoming to people, the people just mess with my stilo. I'm a gentleman of virtue, God is on my side. Don't need a flashy repertoire, cause I know me inside. I'm thinking back to all the times in my life could have died. My father's pastor told me there's a reason I'm alive. Hallelujah, thank you Lord. We still alive, don't let them take us yours. Hallelujah. Me wanna dance, hallelujah. Thank you, Lord. We still alive, don't let them take us yours. Hallelujah. Thank you, Lord. I'm feeling like a man. Yeah. Me wanna dance. Jesus, in a few months, will you bless me? Need a visa and a key cut to a new home and a new whip. Two-tone, that classic, purple classic. Black man from that West End. My blessings, can't count them. Thought I had none, then I found them. Late in an intersection, Toronto, Jane, and West End. My leg was hella broken, but God started stepping, fell back. But the point that I'm making, any damage don't stop me. So that call my city the 6. I'm the youngest one reppin'. I'm the realest legend. Started 2011. And already the illest, my people intaking liquor. NyQuil liquid the preference. I've been told I do nothing, cause I'm raking in nothing. It go deeper than money. Don't forget to bring love in. Tired up these rappers frontin', being viewed as our forefront. They won't help my people. All these rappers I'm bored of. All these rappers are sort of. That trash was hot for a minute. Generation Y is dying, try my best to prevent it. By the looks of it, can't really tell which ones are in sentence. Clear out the second, the reverend. My people need independence, let's begin it.